Hello and good morning, YouTube. It is 9:38 a.m. on a Friday morning. I've been up for quite a while because got off work super early yesterday, and I'll explain more about that. But it resulted in me getting a whole lot of extra sleep. I didn't do anything work-related yesterday, and because I've been getting up so damn early, of course, I woke up way early this morning, even though my alarms were set for 9 a.m., and I don't have to be to work today until noon. Last night when I plotted out like when I have to catch various buses to get to where I'm scheduled to work this afternoon, it just had me cussing at whoever schedules the buses this way. Like, this is the most extreme example I think I've ever seen of infrequent bus scheduling causing me to have to ride a ridiculous amount of time to get to a place of employment that, if I was driving, would be about 15 minutes drive away. We're looking at about 2 hours and 15 minutes that I have to allot to take the bus. And I'm realizing now, as my iPhone is exporting a chunk of my vlog that I've been patiently painstakingly editing, which of course I want to let that finish. I really do. As you see, it's slow at it. And plus I'm trying to get some juice on the phone because it's not fully charged because I've been working on editing video. But the reality is it's already too late for me to head out of my apartment and catch the bus I would need to catch, because I was initially thinking I was going to take a Lime, which is what I'm going to end up having to do anyway. But take a Lime to the light rail, or possibly, I was considering, taking a Lime over to Desert Botanical Gardens. That way I could start riding on the Priest bus. By the way, I'm on my way over to the Circle K that I've worked several times at, and I've vlogged myself going there before. 48th Street in Elliott, doing a 2-hour cooler refresh through ShiftSmart, which turns out I really shouldn't have booked that, but I'll explain more about that later. I was thinking if I could get up there, I'd be looking at only having to take one bus, maybe two. From there, I can take the Priest bus all the way down to Elliott, and I can either walk the mile, although walking a mile just sucks. Like, it's not an undoable distance, but it's walking a mile. Walking a mile sucks, period. Especially when it's a hostile mile and I'm next to a road and I'm having to cross a freeway and dealing with vehicles that are coming on and off a freeway that absolutely aren't looking for pedestrians. And that's what kind of mile that'll be, crossing I-10. So I was thinking maybe just doing it that way, taking one bus, or taking that one bus and then transferring to the bus that goes on Elliott over to 48th to get over to the Circle K. But it's such a longer distance to ride the scooter over Papago Park and down McDowell, or possibly down Oak. I could do either or. And then south on Galvin Parkway. If I'm going from Oak, of course, I'd be using 64th Street to Galvin Parkway. And then down into as I mentioned before, the Priest bus doesn't make it all the way to McDowell. You actually have to go a little ways south and inside Desert Botanical Gardens to catch the bus. So I'd have to ride down into there. And time-wise, like, it genuinely doesn't save any time over catching the light rail at 50th Street Station or 44th and Washington and taking that right rail over to the station at Priest and then transferring to the bus from Priest. So easier just conserve my minutes. At least overall, it just makes more sense to conserve my minutes on my Lime pass and ride the Lime over to 50th Street Station. If I'm taking the Lime, which is what I'm doing, is I think I'm 2 minutes away from the bus passing on Oak on 44th. But yeah, that's honestly, that's what I was planning on doing anyway last night when I was looking at it. And it wasn't until a little bit ago that I was like, well, let's see what time I could catch the 44 just to do it proper, like transit all the way there without using a scooter. And yeah, I decided to look into that entirely too late with me wanting to get that video exported, which of course is still at only about 30%. It's about a 30-minute video. Those take a long time to export. I can probably wait another 15, 20 minutes or so and leave on the leave on the scooter. So kind of cool what's happened with Lime scooters. The one that I parked at the end of the alley, somebody has come by and put a fresh battery in it. So that's pretty exciting. There's also one with a full battery sitting over by the 7-Eleven at 48th and McDowell. So nice to see the ones over in this neighborhood got some service. It's often slim pickings with scooters, Lime scooters in this part of town, even though they do service this part of town. Speaking of scooters, some interesting scooter news. I just got a push-through message from the Spin app letting me know that you can now use both Bird and Spin in either the Bird or the Spin app. So I don't know if those two companies have merged or if they just decided to consolidate their fleets in each other's apps to try to get people to use those apps versus using Lime. I no longer work in the scooter industry, so I just see what little bit of information I'm given from the apps, but that's an interesting change that apparently just took place. And it's most notable, it's worth mentioning to me because, as I said the other day when I took the Lime home from the Circle K at 32nd and Roosevelt, and I parked it at the end of the alley, as I was going up 46th, I did pass, from Palm, I did pass a Bird and a Spin. So it's good to know that those are consolidated now in the Spin app, which I've got. I mean, I've got an account on Bird as well, but I think I don't know. I know I already have the Spin one installed and I've used it recently, although the last time I used it was kind of a bad experience. But that's a separate tragedy. Anyway, good to know that I can always look at just one more app versus having to look at two more apps to see what available scooters are in my neighborhood if Lime isn't getting it done. So I'm having a bit of a problem continuing my vlog as I'm trying to edit it and post it. And that's that I don't seem to be able to upload from my Moto. I can't figure out any way to get the video files I've shot on my Moto onto my iPhone as video files that are in my gallery that I can open in iMovie to edit with. I'm really bewildered by the fact this isn't working, as this is something I've been doing for years from my other Androids. I don't know if it's just that iOS, just things that were compatible are now not compatible due to the fact that I have an older iPhone and I'm running an older version of iOS, and this is a newer Android and thus newer types of Android video files. I really don't know. I mean, it's my understanding they're all MP4 files and theoretically everything should be compatible, but when I upload it from my Motorola to Google Drive in hopes that I can download it from Google Drive onto my iPhone, which is a method I've used in the past, it gets to the drive and I can look at the file properties in Drive and it tells me that it's an MP4 file and it shows the file size, which by the way is huge, but that's a separate problem. I mean, it might be why I'm having this issue, but I highly doubt it. I feel like I've moved really large files before doing this same sort of thing without issue. but it shows it's still an MP4 file, shows the MP4 file extension. But when I download it from Google Drive onto my iPhone, it just downloads it as a file that it doesn't seem to recognize as a video file and doesn't associate with my gallery, and it doesn't associate it. It won't let me open it in any way I've been able to figure out in iMovie. And it changes the file extension from MP4 to MPG, which again is a video file. I don't know why the hell it's struggling with an MPG video file. It still should be kind of the same thing. But anyway, it's not working. I've tried quite a few different things. Googled, trying to see if I could find some advice from other people on Google. And what looked like the best solution was downloading the Google Photos app for iPhone. And I was thinking, oh, that's great. That way I can just download from my backed up files and I don't even have to fuck with moving them over to Google Drive. And then I went to download that from the Apple App Store, only to find out that the version of iOS that I'm running, which is like 2 versions behind the current version of iOS, because I have a 6S Plus and it's technically obsolete now. It just said that a newer version, I got a pop-up message that said a newer version of iOS was required to run that app, and please upgrade to that version of iOS, as if that's an option on my iPhone. So I'm having more and more reasons why I need to figure out what exactly I need to do to get this iPhone 11 working. But right now it's still configured as it's not lighting up. There it is, as a desktop. It's still configured as Vanessa's phone. I still need to figure out how to get all her stuff off of it, and do like a fresh restart or whatever, and get it associated with my iCloud account and make it mine and get all my stuff on there. And maybe I should have been working on that instead of trying to figure out how to get files from my Moto, which I'm, again, shooting videos on. And I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. I've been at that for hours today and haven't really had any success. The one video I had was like 40 some minutes long, and I decided just to watch it and see. It's like, well, is this so god-awful bad that if I don't edit it and I just upload it, am I going to regret posting it as it is? And other than one point where I mentioned that, oh yeah, here's a screenshot of something, and of course I had no way without editing it to add that screenshot. Other than that, no, it was fine. A little bit of stammering, I stammer, whatever. It is what it is. I didn't have a problem with it. I went ahead and just uploaded the whole thing and explained in the video description that it's unedited, and that's why. So yeah, as of yet, that is still a problem I haven't solved. So I share that. I would imagine by the time you see this video, I've found a solution to that problem, but that's what's been taking up a large portion of my day. So it's now 9:51. It's really approaching the time I need to start walking. Good thing I got a scooter just at the end of the alley, as I might be pushing the time that I have to walk all the way to 7-Eleven and take a scooter down to 50th Street Station. But at least I don't have to go that far. I think I've got 18 minutes left on my line pass. So anyway, the iMovie still slowly working on exporting that video. Looks like it's at 60. So it's about 2/3 done. I do have my living room is getting to be more of a mess. I actually had company over and hung out with a woman whom I really like, who appears to really like me. I feel like a complete idiot because I can't for the life of me remember her name now. And as she was leaving my place after hanging out here for several hours yesterday, I absolutely could not remember her name. And it just, part of me was like, I should ask her name right now. And I was thinking, well, that would look really stupid and awkward. And I didn't get her number. And she's like, well, I'll see you on I'll see you on the next gig. Because I find myself working alongside her quite often on the Rhino staging gigs. And I was like, yeah, sure. Thinking, no, I don't have any staged. I don't have any Rhino gigs scheduled right now. And thinking to myself that if any were to pop up, I might not be able to accept them because I've already accepted other gigs. By the way, I'm working at Prometric tomorrow. Finally, I landed one of those $20 an hour all-day Prometric gigs through Winolo. And I could have done one of those today as well, but I didn't accept that because it was too late for me to cancel my whopping 2-hour cooler refresh shift. I'm spending an obscene amount of time trying to transport myself to. I'm kind of regretting that now. I'm almost thinking I'd have been ahead to just take whatever penalty for canceling that late and taking the Prometric gig. But that's come around to bite me in the ass even more. I was just checking this to make sure. Don't need the hard hat today. Just got my cold clothes in there, my gloves and my hat, because it's a cooler refresh I'm doing. Maybe I should throw some extra food in there too. Oh God, all I have left in here that are ready to throw in the box are these barbecue granola bars. And yes, those are absolutely as awful as they sound like they would be. What have I got in here? Hey, I got some cakes. Throw a couple of cakes in there while my phone is busy exporting its video. Yeah, it ended up being a double whammy on being obligated to a 2-hour shift that hardly pays anything, that I have to spend an obscene amount of time riding the bus to get to. As last night, I've been offered not one, but 2 different shifts picking up the flooring down at Chase Field for Rhino staging, and that also pays really well. I think it pays a little bit less than the Prometric gig that I ended up having not to take. The Prometric offered me 2 days, Friday and Saturday, and I did accept Saturday because I had time to cancel my shifts that I had scheduled for Shift Smart for Circle K's for Saturday. But yeah, I was too late to cancel Friday, the shift I'm going to today. But yeah, it would have kind of been nice to take the Rhino staging stuff too. Like when I was offered the overnight shift, and I forget what time. Well, actually, it wasn't an overnight shift. My bad. It was an early morning shift. I think I would have had to start it at 6 a.m. I'd already got plenty of sleep, so I don't think I would have had any trouble. In fact, I think I woke up at 6 a.m. anyway without an alarm clock. So, yeah, again, missed opportunities due to obligations of having to cancel Shift Smart shifts no later than 24 hours. No later than 24 hours prior to the start of the shift. Yeah, and I was mentioning yesterday as I was on my way to my Rhino staging gig that I was thinking about canceling that for tomorrow, just to kind of free up my schedule. And I think in the future, if I find myself a day away where all I have scheduled for Shift Smart is a tiny little shift like that, where I know I'm going to have to be potentially riding the bus for more time than what I actually spend working. Even if I don't already have another shift scheduled, I think I'm going to start canceling that. Just sorry about that. I needed a free hand to plug in the dang iPhone so I can get it charging. The 11. Not like I'm really doing anything. I just keep trying to keep a charge on it so when I'm ready to work on it, it's ready to go. Should turn that light off. Should turn that light on. Dang, it's 9:58. Oh, this is so frustrating because this is not done, but I really need to get my ass going. Oh, man. Oh, man. I guess I'm going to try and carry this while it's exporting. That's usually a recipe for disaster, but I'm hitting the point now where I just need to get moving, or I'm going to end up not catching my train. Damn it.